Hello, this is Jim Duff with JDE Associates. We get to help contractors succeed. Today I'd like to discuss our tracking template. This template has helped us for decades, and it really makes a difference as far as how you're able to look at your job and see how you're doing. To make this cost to complete template work, there's two items that you're absolutely going to need, or at least in our opinion, that you're going to need. The first is that your estimator needs to use consistent estimating breakouts. Now, in our text, our estimating text, we have this in our book, and you can see that we have 4 levels of breakouts. It starts with the section, and the first, of course, would be base bid. This would be the minimum that they're going to want you to do. There could be alternates. Typically, 3 alternates is going to be more than enough, but about a year ago I had a project that had over 100 alternates. Kind of a pain in the neck, but it's really not that big of a thing once you understand how to put an estimate together. Alternates are just a thing, just another method that you're going to have to master. Next, we have value options, or VOs. It's not a Canadian whiskey. It is an option. Well, again, most contractors call it value engineering. I call it value option because it gets me phone times with people that make decisions as to who's going to get the job. So it lets me pitch my proposal when someone calls me up and asks me, Jim, what the heck's a value option? My answer is pretty simple. Well, you're used to it being called a value engineering. I can't call it a value engineer because I'm not an engineer, so I call it value option, and I leave it at that. It's a little bit sneaky, but I never said I was fair. The next one is temporary power. I see an awful lot of contractors lose money on temporary power. I'm not going to tell you I don't ever lose money on temporary power, but I don't lose it very often. And it is because I've put an estimate into the estimate for temporary power. My breakouts, it's the various different items that I could have in a bid. Distribution, light fixtures, fire alarm, switchgear, feeders, branch devices. I could have a project that has an extensive UPS system, uninterrupted power supply system. Computer centers typically have these. And if I have a large one, we had a fairly large one about a year ago, the darn battery room was about 20 foot wide by about 30 foot long, and it was just filled with batteries. I think the batteries went in 3 tiers in the racks that they had for them. And I can't even tell you how many batteries were actually in that thing, but certainly in the high hundreds in that one room. On a project like that, I'm not going to put that in under switchgear. I'm going to have a separate breakout. So I can deviate from these a little bit if it's necessary. I've had some fixture packages where I have an intense amount of indirect fluorescent fixtures, the type that hang off of aircraft cable. I had one where those fixtures by themselves was over $500,000. And then the rest of the fixtures, I think it was about $325,000. So it was a nice fixture package. But I broke those indirect fixtures with the aircraft cable into a separate breakout because it just made sense. Division, I've got it set up as site, underground, basement, first, second, third, fourth, etc. You can do that. Often that drawing number is going to tell me where I am on the site. If that's the case, I'm probably just going to put a line under each of those divisions and not even use it. The drawing, it is whatever the engineer has designated. It could be E1, could be E100, it could be anything. It's just what the engineer uses. So breakouts are an important part. The next item that's going to be really important is my time tickets that's coming in from the field, my field electricians. Now, I'm a believer that everybody should take care of their own time ticket and that every time ticket should be filled out every day. Because if they're not filled out every day, if you wait until Friday to fill out your time tickets, you're going to get garbage. It's just not going to be accurate. And so consequently, I break out my time tickets in a very similar manner to how the estimator broke it out in the estimate. The only exception is the branch. That would be the second item that I have in here, this guy right there. Okay. The reason my branch is going to be a little different than what my estimator used is that I'm going to have branch in lighting, I'm going to have branch in power, I'm going to have branch in special systems, tel data, fire alarm. I'm going to have branch in every breakout. Well, when I actually run my branch in the field, when I'm running branch, I run it all. I can't say it's 100% accurate, but I'm going to tell you that I run the vast majority of it. Because why would I come back into another area to put in another piece of conduit or cable? Just do it all at the same time. It's the most efficient time. Plus, my electricians are electricians because they don't want to be accountants. So it's easier for the project manager to sit down and look at how the branch is being installed and then merging all of those hours into one breakout than it is for the field guys to be thinking, okay, I did 8 hours of branch today, so let's see, I put an hour in for fixtures, I put an hour in for switchgear, I put an hour in for branch power, I put an hour in for oh heck, I don't know what I did, and I'm just going to throw something in. You're not going to get accurate information if they have to report it for everything. This time ticket, I've got it set up in a way that you can use it off of a tablet as long as that's legal in your state. It is in most states, and it's a lot faster way of getting your time tickets completed. Plus, it gives you information that you can do more than just pay your employees accurately. This is giving you information that's going to help you later on, and this is how it's going to do it. My labor tracking, I'm going to come in, and obviously most companies are going to have a job number. I'll just put 1, 2, 3, 4. Most jobs are going to have a name. This is Jim's. Not Jim Duff. That wasn't what I wanted. Jim's project. And whatever the week ending parent, that's what you're going to put in. You're going to put the date in there. Now, I'm going to have my assistant in the office load all of these, and so they're going to load them with all of the breakouts that we used in the estimate. And again, branch will be a combined item. And so this is going to be all done for the project managers. If you want to put a description in there, you can. We can just say light fixtures. First floor. Let's just say we had 200 hours. It's a lot of hours for fixtures on a job, but it happens. My cost to complete job walks are going to be on a scheduled basis. If I have a 6-month job, I'm probably going to do 8 cost to complete job walks. I will probably do 1 per month for the first 4 months, and then that last 2 months I'm probably going to do 2 per month for those last 2 months. You're going to use more hours in that last 2 months than you probably did in the whole 4 months that started the project. It's not always true, but it's pretty accurate. So if you're doing your first cost to complete job walk, were there any approved change orders since the job started? Seeing how this is the first Probably not. But if there were, let's just say you got 20 hours in there. Okay, that just adds to your total number of hours. Now, what I'm going to do is my hours have been reported to my accounting system, so I already know how many hours have been used in this particular breakout through last Sunday, if Sunday was the end of your recording period. Well, let's just say I used 16 hours. Now, this is Wednesday, and so it's possible that I've used a few more hours this week, and I should be able to get that information from my supervisor. Let's just say they put in another 8 hours. Okay, so after walking the job, and you do have to know the job to be able to do this with any accuracy at all, I'm going to come up with a percentage of where I'm at on the job for that particular breakout. Well, I come in here and I decide that I'm 10% complete. Okay. Uh-oh. If I'm 10% complete, that means I've earned 20 hours, but I've used 24. So I'm only working at an 83% tilt. 83% is not very good because you're going to be losing money if you don't straighten that out. I've had these jobs where I've had 50 or 60 or more breakouts, and so you're going to see some of these items, they're going to be, on the plus side. You're going to see some that are on the bad side, and changing 15%, you'll see that now you're working at 125%. You're making good money at that point, but at 10% you're not. Now, as a project manager, when I see these red numbers, I don't get mad. But what I do is I go in and I look first at myself, because I'm the one that's in charge of this job. And I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to say, am I supplying the 3 things that supervisor needs to do the job efficiently? Those 3 things are the information, the materials, and the tools. Now, tools is not only physical tools, but it is the correct labor amount to get the job done. Do you have enough people on the job site? If any one of those 3 items isn't there when that supervisor needs them, your job's going to suffer. Now, after I look at myself, now I'm going to look at my supervisor, and I'm going to ask that same question. Is that supervisor supplying what the electricians need to get the job done? It's the same 3 items. After the supervisor, I'm going to look at the field to see, are they working efficiently? Now, if they're not, I have to come back and look at the supervisor, because that's the supervisor's main role, is to make sure that the people underneath them is working efficiently. Okay? Let's just say in Shangri-La that, I'm supplying everything they need, supervisor's supplying everything that the field needs, and the field's working efficiently. If I still have a problem, what I am going to do is I'm going to go to that general contractor, because my contract is with the general contractor. It's not with the plumber or the HVAC people or the concrete people or anybody else. It's typically with that general contractor. And I am going to say, hey, we have a problem. Let's get this fixed. That should be the end point. And you should have enough documentation to take care of it. Now, this cost complete doesn't give you the documentation, but hopefully you've got other documentation that will take care of this. If you go to the second month, you will see that the information from the first month is on the form for the second month. So you're going to build on your... Now, I already said that if this were a 6-month job, I might do as many as 8 of these. If I get into a bad stretch where I've really got some issues, I can always throw another one of these in just to see if my fixes to straighten out the ship have actually worked. This is a lot better than running a job and never doing one of these cost completes and then finding out towards the end of the job that you're out of hours and you're out of material money. You've got a problem. This way you get a financial report card of how your job's doing. I hope this was beneficial, and I hope to hear from you.